Stavreva is the true definition of a mum-preneur. Inspired by her own nursing experience, she creates PowerMama, a smart pumping bra. The success of the product encourages her to expand the brand, and she is now committed to making breastfeeding as easy as possible for other mums, recognizing that everyone's nursing journey is unique. In this episode, we talk about setting up a manufacturing business from your kitchen table, her earlier startup success, and the grueling hours of a city career, which now feels a lifetime ago. Galena is open about the challenges she had as a mum, the importance of lifestyle choices, and knowing when to hit the pause button for the sake of your own health. Her story is a good reminder to take things one step at a time and let the pieces of the puzzle just fit together.
You don't need to have it all at the same time, because I would much rather enjoy the process to where I'm going rather than get to my 10 aims by the end of the year. I really want to enjoy the process. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I don't want to be stressed about it, because then it comes out in your work and people can feel it.
Well, hello and welcome, Galena. I'm so pleased to have you. People who are listening may not know, but we've met through common friends. And every time that I meet you over the years, you're always doing something new. So what are you doing right now? What's keeping you busy?
Hi, Christina. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. So right now I've got something very, very exciting cooking. It's a new business project and it's called PowerMama. And it's about helping breastfeeding mothers enjoy their breastfeeding journey by making it easy and seamlessly as possible. And it's about creating physical products that help breastfeeding mothers. The first product is already on the market. Hooray!
Yes.
It's a pumping bra. So it's a bra that holds the breast pumps. In addition to the bra, there is an extra pocket, which is my own personal innovation. Nothing like it exists. I'm super proud of it. So it has an extra pocket that actually holds the power unit of the pump, and it allows moms to be completely hands-free. They can walk around. They can do household chores while pumping. So basically, it makes their pumping journey a lot easier. So that's my first project. I have a lot of other ideas, and basically I'll materialize them one by one and see how the market responds. But the response for the bra has been excellent.
Well, that's very interesting, and I want you to tell us a bit more about that, because I think for anyone listening, maybe people, if they haven't gone through that experience of breastfeeding themselves, they may not necessarily know that there are some challenges. And I think I've put you in a loosely defined group of mompreneurs, those who were inspired by their own motherhood journey to create products or to start something. But this wasn't the first project that you're doing, and maybe it sounds very easy. Oh, she just gets an idea. She decides to do something, and boom, 3 months later, there's the bra, and she's selling it and she's having success. But it wasn't that easy. There was a lot of thoughts and, I suppose, challenges along the way. So how did that PowerMama idea actually come to life?
Yeah. A lot of challenges. So the actual idea was because I was struggling a lot with my own breast pump. I had the pumping bra. It was holding the shield to my breasts, but I didn't have anywhere to actually put the power unit, and it was super annoying. I used plastic bags. I used to hold it in my hand. I know friends of mine who've actually held it in their mouth, but it vibrates, so it's. I've heard all sorts of ridiculous things, and I was like, that's outrageous. Someone like this should exist. Why hasn't anyone thought of it? But no one had. So it was actually a very long journey from the moment when I had the idea to the moment when I actually held the first sample in my hand. It was over a year because I've never had a physical products business before. So it was a very steep learning curve. I had to learn a lot of things. I'm selling mainly on Amazon, so I took a few courses about how do you actually sell on Amazon? How do you find someone to produce your physical goods? And I had to learn all of this because I had absolutely no experience. So it was over a year before I even had the prototype. And then we had to test it with breastfeeding moms. They gave us feedback. So we changed the design. We had to test it again. So quite a long-winded process for the first product, mainly because it was a lot of learning along the way for myself.
Yes, but once you started, there was actually demand. And I think what you told me when we met, you said that actually what convinced you to go ahead with this was that you were speaking with your other mum friends and they were all having that issue.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of moms have the exact same issue. I did a lot of field research. I spoke with a lot of breastfeeding moms. A lot of my friends are breastfeeding. I've joined a lot of breastfeeding groups, found a lot of moms there to speak with them. And yeah, they absolutely agreed it's an issue. They were all very keen to get their hands on the bra as soon as possible, which was very encouraging.
And then, so how do you actually find the clients? I think there are products that don't tend to do that well. So, do you have any tips for anyone who's starting or on that journey, or maybe has an idea and is thinking, "Oh, how do I actually sell that on Amazon or
So
any other open market?" Yeah.
any other marketplace. So I'm selling mainly on Amazon, and I do have a website, but I channel most of the sales through Amazon. So the website is mainly for marketing and capturing users' email addresses and just for our own brand's reputation, really. Someone wants to check us out. If you want to get started on selling on Amazon, I would definitely recommend do a course, because there's a lot of things that you need to learn, from finding the manufacturers to finding the right product to testing the audience. The really good thing is that if you're able to find a producer who can produce a small quantity of what you want, you can order a really small batch of what you're planning to sell and just do a test sale on Amazon and literally see how the market is going to respond. Are people buying it? How are the sales? You can test the price. So with my bra, it was very easy to produce and you don't have a lot of upfront costs. And I managed to find a factory which it had a minimum order quality of 200 bras. So for the very first trial, I only ordered 200 bras and then sold those on Amazon. And I saw that they were selling well. There was enough demand. The reviews were good. So that's why I wanted to then make a bigger financial investment and order more for the next round, basically. But yeah, if you're able to start small, and kind of test what you're doing without a big upfront cost, which is excellent.
Yes, well, that's important, particularly when you're trying to sell products, because that's one of the biggest barriers to entry. You to invest, commit capital, you have stock that you have to manage. So that always comes with its own sets of challenges and logistics. But yeah, I suppose when people listen to your interview, they may think that that's the first thing that you've done. But actually, your journey goes way back, and this is not how you started your career. This is something that you got inspired to do a bit more recently. But what did you do before?
So I had another startup before I started working on PowerMama, and it's called Spare Fare. And Spare Fare is a marketplace for travel reservations. So it's like eBay for flights, hotels, and package holidays. A lot of people don't actually know this, but for non-refundable reservations, a lot of the times you can change the name of the person who is traveling. So even though you can't go yourself, you can change the name of the person and someone else can go in your place and they can pay you for the holiday that they are using now. So it's an excellent way for the people who can't go on a holiday to get at least some of their money back. So most of the time, you're probably not going to be able to recover 100% of what you paid, but at least you'll get some of your money back. It was a very, very, very exciting project. Started in 2016. We successfully weathered the COVID storm.
And that not many businesses did that.
No, especially travel startups in the early years. So I'm very, very proud of that achievement. It was a huge team effort. And I'm very, very happy to say that we've actually managed to sell the business. We closed the sale this summer. So I have my first successful startup exit. So it was a very challenging but also a very fulfilling journey. And now I have more time to focus on PowerMama, and I'm pretty sure that the startup is now in some very capable hands to take it on to the next level. So it was a very, very excellent journey. I'm happy to share more about it if you feel it'll be interesting.
Yes, definitely, because I think that shows an interesting side that you weren't always dealing with products. This was a services business. And I think
Exactly.
the two models are very different, and there are reasons why it may or may not work for your aspirations, your personal life situation, or whatever it may be. So what was your journey?
Exactly. Yeah. So Fair is a services based business, and it takes a lot of time, a team of people to manage the queries, IT guys for the support on the website, and it's a very significant team operation. And most of the time, I was working 10, 11, 12 hours every day on it because it was still in the early days and required, like a little baby, it required a lot of attention. And in 2020, just as the COVID pandemic hit, a few days before the first UK lockdown, I had my first baby. Our daughter Zara was born. And I had very unrealistic expectations about what life with the baby would look like.
You thought it's not going to change one bit and you're going to do the exact same things that you always did, right?
Not quite, but I thought that with the right support, I would still be able to have enough time to work on Spearfare. Completely delirious. Nothing like that. So the baby didn't sleep. We had a lot of feeding issues in the beginning, a lot of breastfeeding issues, a lot of pumping issues, as I've told you. It was completely overwhelming. I felt so burnt out. It was a proper nightmare. And then working with Fair and trying to manage it during the pandemic was an absolute horror show. And at some point, I felt like I can't keep going, and something really drastically needs to change because, yeah, I was just not in a good place. And in order to succeed in having your own business and developing your own thing, you really have to enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise you're going to have a really tough time with it. And at that point I wasn't enjoying working on Fair just because I did not enough time to do what I needed to do. So we kind of like hit pause, stopped the sales on the website. I focused on raising my daughter and basically surviving for the first few months of motherhood, probably the first year. And then when things got a little bit better with Zara, I was I was wondering when would be the right time to restart Fair. And while I was thinking about that, we got a really interesting offer for someone who was really interested in the website, and he gave us an excellent price. And I felt like that was a really good time to maybe think about doing something else. And as I was thinking about, oh, what do I do with Fair, I had all of those breastfeeding issues, which were very stressful, very time consuming, very inconvenient. And then I had the idea about the pump, but I absolutely knew that I couldn't handle both developing the pump project while working on Fair, while taking care of my daughter full time because she wasn't at nursery yet, and we still had like lockdown after lockdown, so everything was quite very uncertain. So at that point I thought, okay, maybe now would be the right time to hand off Fair to someone who is very excited about the project, has lots of really good ideas, and they have the time and the ability to take it on to the next level, while I start working on this other idea, which I'm actually super excited about. And the other thing which kind of made me make the jump is that a, a services based business with clients takes a lot of time, and it always will take a lot of time and supervision. A products based business takes a lot of time in the beginning while you're setting it up, but afterwards, especially if you're using Amazon, it can be a very well, not really hands off, but it really takes a lot less time. And once you get the systems up and going, it really doesn't take that much time out of your day. You can have a successful product selling business with maybe 2-3 hours a day of work, which is amazing, and something that can never really work with a business like Spare Fair, because you've always got partners and clients and customers, and there's always issues, and you need to make sure everything's done the right way. But yeah, the product selling business is um, a more hands-off business in that sort of way, which is what I really need at this stage of my life. While my daughter is still really young, now she's going to nursery, but she has a lot of sick days. And yes, I could get a nanny and then focus on Spare Fair full time, but that's not why I'm having kids, to have someone else raise them. I felt like working on PowerMama was the right thing to do for this season of my life, just because I wanted to have more flexibility to spend time with my daughters. So the product-based business really fits well with my current lifestyle. For anyone who's thinking about doing it, Amazon has fulfillment services, so you don't have to store the packages in your house, label them every time you have a sale, and then run to the post office so you can post them. So obviously they charge you a fee. They charge you a 30% fee, which is quite expensive, but it takes a huge chunk out of your hassle. So as long as you have projects with margins which can absorb the Amazon fulfillment fee, I would absolutely recommend it to anyone, because you need your mind to be clear on focusing on the business, on growing with more customers, developing new products, marketing efforts, and that takes plenty of time on its own. You don't also need to be dealing with, warehousing and shipping orders and dealing with returns and all of that. It gives you the brain space to focus on the more important things. So the product business really fulfills that like passive lifestyle that I need right now.
Well, I wouldn't call it passive, because you're still doing 100 things at the same time, but you're just prioritizing something else, I think. And that's important, because we often think that, we can have it all at the same time. And sometimes it's difficult. And sometimes you need to make those, you need to find those balance. And it's different for everyone. I've had episodes with other women who, prioritize their career. It's a choice at the end of the day, isn't it?
It really is, yes. But you don't need to have it all at the same time, because I would much rather enjoy the process to where I'm going rather than get to my 10 aims by the end of the year. I really want to enjoy the process. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I don't want to be stressed about it, because then it comes out in your work and people can feel it, and you rush the results, and you don't have to have everything at the exact same time. It's absolutely fine to not want to achieve something by the end of this month. It's absolutely fine if you want to do it next year, the year after. And just I'm trying to prioritize being more relaxed, enjoying my lifestyle, taking it at a slower pace, and I'm still productive and I'm still doing a lot of things, but I'm also just enjoying my life at the stage where I'm at. And for me, like, it feels like the exact right thing I need to do right now.
Yeah, and I think that's also something that often comes up in those conversations, just finding something that you're passionate about and that you enjoy, because if you don't, then you're probably just not going to stick with it. And speaking of that, few people might know that you didn't start your career just going straight into being an entrepreneur. You did have a full-time job at some point as well. And
I did.
That didn't last too long.
It lasted for 5 or 6 years. I've forgotten now. It feels like it was in a different lifetime. So I'm a UK qualified solicitor, and I specialized in commercial real estate. I worked for a very big international American law firm. They're called Ropes and Gray. They're based in the city. So a big law firm with a very international, with a very American mindset to work, which basically means you live in the office, the firm owns you, your phone is an extension of your hand, and you need to be on call 24/7. So 100-hour weeks were common. All-nighters in the office were very common. Canceled holidays were very common. Working and spending all of your weekend in the office, extremely common. You go to work one day and you're not sure, are you going to leave today? Are you going to leave tomorrow? Are you going to have a quick nap and leave on the next day? Like, you have no idea how your day is going to turn out and what urgent issue is going to come up. And I'm saying that, but I really enjoyed my time as a solicitor. I worked really hard to get to that stage. I studied law at LSE. The exams are very grueling. I have slept in the library many more times that I can probably remember. I've spent a lot of all-nighters in the office, to prove your worth, make your mark, prove, be a valuable addition to the team. But I did learn a lot. I'm to this day, I'm still applying my legal skills to a lot of the businesses that I'm working on. My colleagues were great and I enjoyed it, but I think it was amazing at that stage of my life. But I've always kind of felt like I wanted to have my own business. I've always had this internal drive. So I always wanted to do my own thing. And I'm very, very willing and happy to put in the hours, because working on your own business, it just takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. It's not easy sailing, but I always wanted to have the flexibility to do it on my own terms. So that's always been very, very important. And when you're creating something new, which doesn't exist, which helps users, travelers, moms, it's very, very exciting, because it gives a whole new meaning to your work, because you're working on something that is tangible. It helps people. It makes someone's life better. And it's just, for me, that's the biggest driving force. And it's a lot more exciting too. So when the opportunity presented itself with Spare Fair, it was a no-brainer. I jumped right back in. Looking back, I have absolutely no regrets. It was definitely the right thing to do.
What is next? Like, what do you dream? I know you dream big, and I know that you believe in dreaming big. So where do you hope this journey would take you?
I am really hoping that I will have a business which generates enough cash to fund two charitable initiatives, which I've always had on my heart, but they take money. So I'm still working on the first steps.
I actually never knew that was your underlying motivation, and it sounds like you want to help back in the community close to where you grew up. So why is that important to you?
Well, I don't know. Why is anything important to us in life? What really gives life meaning and what really makes people human is trying to help each other, trying to help someone else, leave something after yourself, help people, make a product that makes life easier for them. It makes me sad when I see the inefficiencies that we have in the world, and if I know that something can be done to improve it, it would give me the greatest joy if I can contribute even just a little bit to making it a little bit better for someone else.
Well, I think that's very powerful, because I think it sounds like your motivation really comes down to just helping others, and especially when you're in the business of helping with products. And even when you were a solicitor, I remember that you were doing a lot of pro bono cases as well.
Correct. Yeah, I tried to take part whenever I could, even though I was still quite junior, so probably not very capable, but still.
Well, it's the thought that counts, and I'm sure that's a lot more than those people would have had otherwise, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
where I think that's been very inspiring, including for me and hopefully for everyone else listening. But if you wanted to leave in one final thought or maybe a piece of advice, anything that you wish you knew when you started your career journey, particularly because the theme now is about nonlinear careers and making these changes. So what are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely take the risk. You can always, if your own business doesn't work out, you can always go back to your old job. It will always be there. But if you have an idea, go for it. Life is going to kind of help you out and help click the little pieces in front of you so you can make the next step. If you want to start a product business, it's very doable. You can start it as a side hustle. You don't have to quit your full-time job. So very practical steps for people who are wanting to do this, because it took me a while to find the right path. But step one, read the book 12 Months to 1 Million. Find a course which actually shows you how to find manufacturers and then how to list your product and what you need to do with advertising. Find a manufacturer, test your product, sample it, and then start selling it. Literally, it's those 5-6 easy steps that I just listed. It took me a little bit of it was jumbled up in my head in the beginning, but that's the right way. And it's actually, once you start doing it, it's much easier than you thought. And absolutely anyone can do it from their kitchen table as well.
I recently rewatched the video recording of my interview with Galena, and I noticed that she wouldn't stop smiling throughout the whole interview. To me, this is a testament that she is somebody who has found her inner peace, and as the quote goes, it is a truly lucky man or woman who knows what he wants to do in this world. The reason why I really wanted to share her story is not because she is unique in starting a business from her kitchen table. It's rather because she went through all the ups and downs of being squeezed like a lemon by a corporate job, the roller coaster ride of building a startup, only to find you can't keep up with its success, and then navigating a challenging health crisis, which actually gave her the idea to launch her own products business. To me, this just feels like a brilliant example of the power of constantly reinventing yourself and having more than one careers, more than one goals in life. And I admire the effortlessness and vulnerability with which she moved through these different stages. Her honesty about not needing to have it all at the same time is a rather refreshing reminder that we often rush through life, taking tasks off the list and forgetting to enjoy the process. It has happened to me at times with this podcast, and I'm sure it's familiar to even the most self aware amongst us. So, as you continue with your day, I hope Galena's story will serve as a reminder that you can prioritize different goals at different points in your life, and at the toughest times are when the best ideas are often born. Next time on the show, we have designer Lisa Redman, who shares the twists and turns of building her own brand and how the drive for sustainability is shaking up the fashion industry. Thank you so much for listening to The Sound of Breaking Glass. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to follow us on your podcast app, tell a friend about us, or check us out on LinkedIn. New episodes are released every other Wednesday. It's been a real pleasure. Till next time.